Okay. So we'll start with the most simple piece of the jigsaw puzzle, which is the floor, because it's one flat plane. Yeah. So what we do is I'll select the floor. Just going to move it to one side so that I can see just it for a while. Now the floor obviously has to have this floor texture on it. So I've got the plane selected. I'm going up to my modifier list and scrolling right to the very bottom. Now yesterday you used UVW map. This time you're going to use the one just above it. Unwrap UVW. Okay. With that turned on, what you can then do using polygons is select what polygon applies to what part of the texture. Okay. So I've selected the only polygon that exists on this plane because it's made up of just one. Then I'm going to scroll down, and here where I've got edit UVs, I want to open the editor so I can see. There's my one polygon here. And then in my top option right here, this drop down, if I click that and choose the first map, so it's already set up for you, is the poker set. Yeah. Now because it's a flat plane, it's difficult for me to show you this because I've got a really horrible 4:3 screen. Because it's a flat plane, we can just use this one here. It's called Quick Planar, and it will to anything that's flat, you can use this one for. Okay. So this is completely flat, so I'm going to click it, and it takes it away as one square. Then in here, I can grab using, so here we've got move, rotate, scale, and then this one kind of does all of them at the same time. It's like a free transform tool. So I can move things around, I can hover over one of these side ones and rotate it, or I can scale it. So all I'm interested in is scaling. So if I scale this down to here, you can see it's affecting that at the same time. Let me just turn that off. There you go. So wherever I move this affects where the texture is and how it applies to the asset. Okay, so done. Floors done. That's the easiest one. Don't fail at that one, please. Next, let's grab one of the cans. Okay, so actually no, I'm going to keep things really simple for you first. I'm going to send you away and bring you back. I think is probably the best way to get around this. We'll do the dice. So I'm going to select both of the dice, and then this little option down here next to the padlock that allows you to isolate whatever you have selected. So I can click on that and we can just look at just the dice. If I ever want to go back to the whole scene, I just click it again. Okay. So with it clicked once, I can now see these two dice. I'm going to select just one of them. And then again, I'm going to go to the modifier list, scroll right to the very bottom, and then find Unwrap UVW. Doink. Open up the UV editor. Change my drop down so that it shows the actual texture. Then I can select them either side by side like this. Press F2 again so you can see what I'm doing. I can either select them one at a time, and each time I can just select and then press on the Quick Planar button over here, and then I can grab it and move it and position it so that it's where it needs to be over one of these dice, right? So I can do that for each and every one. Click, move, click, move, click, move. Or I can select the whole of the dice, making sure that I've got this option here, ignore back facing, turned off. If it's on, if I select like this, the parts of the dice that I can't see in the viewport aren't selected. Okay. With it turned off, it selects everything. Okay. So remember that, because you'll be at some point you'll be trying to select everything and forgetting about that. You'll be positioning it perfectly, and you'll come back into the main view and you'll find out that half of your asset hasn't got a texture on it because you haven't looked. Just be aware of that one. So now that I've got it all selected, instead of clicking on this little Quick Planar button, I can move further down, and I've got some projection options here. So I've got one for cube or box, and I've got another one here for cylinder, which we'll use for the cans. So if I click on the box option, what should happen now, hopefully, if it's worked right, is each of these, if I move them all up here, each of these have separately come off now. So let me check that one more time. No, it doesn't want to do it. Okay, so it's failing me. Sorry, guys. We'll do it the old way. Okay, so for each one, side, hit the middle, side, hit the middle, side, hit this one. Incidentally, does anyone know what's on what side on a dice?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. We always add up to 7. Okay, so now I've got each of the pieces of the dice here, and obviously that means my process now is to kind of grab them and place them so that they're right over the right dot. So I will just do a couple of them to show you. Now, when you're rotating, if you hold down Control, it will pop at 5 degrees each time. It means you can get something bang on 90 or bang on whatever, right? Just go these down. Okay, there's my 6. Opposite side, this one, I know needs to be 1. Shortcuts are exactly the same as the ones that you use for move, rotate, and scale up here. So W, E, and R are the shortcuts, or you can click these options up here. Okay, so let's imagine that we did the rest of them, so the dice is done. Okay, so they're the really simple ones. So we're just doing flat pieces now. That's the easiest ones to do. When you get onto something more difficult, like the can and the label, for example, for the can, instead of using the flat planar, let me come back out of isolation. Just find myself a can. I'm going to isolate that. Okay, so with this, again, add on unwrap, and then I'm going to select all the way around the asset. What have I not done? Good. Okay, so now we've selected all of them. If, for example, it's easier for me to select this and then click on these options here, which allow me to grow my selection or shrink my selection. So that's easier than you kind of going around and individually picking bits out later on. So I'm going to select those first, strip, click on grow. That bit from there onwards I'm going to have being the top of the can, and then this one obviously is the bottom, so that's all I need to select. Scroll down, open up the UV editor, and then this time for this asset, obviously it's cylindrical, so we're going to click on this cylinder option here. And then to check whether it's doing it correctly, can you see that yellow cylinder that's running around the top? If it does it in the wrong angle, it will look like this. It will look wrong. You'll see that it's not facing the right way around. Okay, so for us, Z is the right way. Then the other thing you need to be aware of is when 3ds Max cuts up something that's round or something that's cylindrical, notice that it's putting in this green line here. The rest of it's all yellow running around the outside, this cage. But there's a green line, and that green line is where the split is. Okay, so where you're going to rip it open from. You can see that the green line on here is edged over to this way and then gone up instead of going straight up. There's one that's going straight up, but there's another one going around there. And what that's done is here, look, it's ripped off. This piece here is now on the bottom, is now on the left-hand side, and it shouldn't be. So to fix that, all you do, it's really simple, just go to your rotation tool and ever so slightly rotate it, and you can see that just pops back. Yeah, just have it so that make sure that they're full pieces running through. Cool. When that's done, you always have to click on the little projection box to turn it off, so that then we can start manipulating it and moving it in here. So these pieces here are my top and my bottom, so I just want to get those out of the way. Move that one out of the way first. Okay. Click on this, choose poker set, and then here's my can, and I want it to fit in there. Cool. Okay. Then top and bottom, very simple as well because they're pretty much flat. So I'm going to go polygon at the front, turn F2 back on. F2, by the way, shows or unhides the your selection. Quite useful. It's the same thing when you're in modeling mode as well. So if you don't want to see it, you won't be able to see what's underneath. Press F2. So I've selected the top. I'm just going to grow twice so that I can select the rest of the can. This section here and then a bit on the outside as well. 1, 2. Because it's relatively flat as apart from this little section here, I'm just going to quick planar it off. If I can find it. There it is. Grab that, scale it down. Holding down Control allows you to scale things uniformly. If you're using this tool here, if you're using the standard scale tool, then it scales uniformly anyway. And then the bottom's just one piece anyway. So quick planar, scale, move, zoom, scale. Decide whether you want to use that outer edge or not. Yeah. Okay, so we've done that flat planar. We've shown you how to do the dice, and I've shown you how to start, well, how to do the complete can as well. Probably going to get stuck at some point, but I'll post this video up and you can use that. Does anyone need headphones again? Same too.